I'm marrying him, Father, whether you like it or not." The statement was followed by a silence that stretched on for minutes. Then it was broken. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. "You will do as I say, or you will cease to be my daughter," a man could be heard saying. The man was Aaron Martin, a husband to a gorgeous wife named Beth, and father to one beautiful daughter named Nancy. And to understand why he said that, this story would have to begin at the very start. Aaron was a rich man who made barrels for famous factories in Louisville, while his wife remained at home as a full-time housewife. Even if a bit conservative, their family had always been a happy one. However, all of that changed after Nancy went away for college. From an early age, her father had always drummed the importance of hard work into her skull. When he worked late at night in his office, she would often join him in his study before going to bed, and he would tell her a little about life and the importance of being able to go after one's desire passionately. "Do you know why a hare is sometimes faster than the wild cat after it?" Aaron asked Nancy in one of their discussions. "Because it has long legs?" she asked. "No, pumpkin, it's because it is running for its life. The cat just wants another meal to fill its belly, and missing the hare will not end its life. However, it's different for the hare." "Why is that, Father?" "Because unlike the cat, the hare is running for its life. It will run more passionately to get away from the cat because it knows getting caught means certain death. In life, you have to be prepared to passionately pursue your goals or you'll never meet them." "I understand, Father," Nancy had replied, awed by what she'd just learned. She and her father kept having such discussions, and it helped her grow into an intelligent girl. Her grades were great, and her behavior was exemplary. When it came time for her to enroll in college, she discussed what she would like to major in with her parents. "I'd like to be a lawyer," Nancy announced when she sat them down. "A lawyer?" her mother asked. "Why that profession?" her father also wanted to know. "Because it will give me a chance to make some changes in our society, and I also enjoy legal shows and books," she told them. Her parents supported her choices, and they sent her off to college. There, Nancy kept up with her peers, getting good grades and enjoying a network of friends. At some point in her freshman year, she was invited to a party by a friend who introduced her to another freshman named Jeffrey. He was handsome and so well-cultured that Nancy immediately fell in love with him. "This is the man I will spend the rest of my life with," she thought to herself when they first shook hands. After their introduction, the two immediately struck it off, quickly finding out that they had a lot in common. They easily became friends, and day after day, Nancy fell deeper in love with Jeffrey. The only problem was she had no idea if he felt the same way about her. He was an introvert, and she knew how fond he was of keeping his emotions under lock and key. When they ended their freshman year, the school closed for the holidays so students could visit home. Jeffrey left a day after, but Nancy did not. She was out of her mind with love, and not knowing how he felt did not make things easier. After thinking all day about it, she packed her bags and traveled more than 130 miles to reach Jeffrey. Even though she had not been to his home before, she found it with relative ease because she had pestered the stubborn boy in the past to give her descriptions of his place. She knocked on his door, and she was greeted by his mom, Deborah, who already knew Nancy since her son introduced her as his friend in the past. "Nancy, what are you doing here?" the woman asked, looking shocked and pleased to see her. "I'm here to see your son, Deborah. We have unfinished business," Nancy answered. Then she heard his voice. "Who's at the door, Mom?" he asked. At that, Nancy was ushered in, much to Jeffrey's surprise. "How are you here?" he asked her as they melted into each other's arms. "I came because I have something to tell you, Jeff," she said when they finally stopped hugging. "What is it?" he asked, his eyes a bit worried. "I know we just met a little over a year ago, and I know I'm not the best person, but I just wanted to let you know that I find you attractive and would love to be with you for the rest of my life. You don't have to feel the same way, but I wanted you to at least know that what I feel for you is more than just simple friendship." Nancy quickly rushed out before her nerves got the better of her. She took a deep breath after saying her piece, then opened her eyes, which were previously closed because she was afraid to see the look on Jeffrey's face. Her eyes now open, she was greeted by the sight of Jeffrey on his knee. "I feel the same way, Nancy," he said. "I just didn't know how to tell you, and then I feared it would ruin our friendship if I did. I do love you too, and would love to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm sorry I don't have a ring or anything, but for now, you'll have to take my word for it. It was like a fairy tale to Nancy. Jeffrey could not have said what he did in a better way, even if she had written him a script herself. She was invited to dinner, and later that night, the two lovebirds made plans for marriage. They spent the whole night at it, too excited to sleep. Nancy spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey's family, then said her goodbyes to Deborah and his siblings. It was time for her to return home with the good news, and her husband-to-be. She invited Jeffrey to a family dinner, but unlike in his household, the atmosphere was not celebratory. When she appeared at the door with him, her father had immediately asked who he was, to which she had replied, "My fiancé." At her answer, he simply left them standing at the open door as he made his way back into the house. "Well, at least he didn't slam the door in our faces," Nancy joked. She had foreseen her father acting up. Over dinner, she and Jeffrey communicated their wedding plans to a bristling Aaron and his wife. He wanted no part of it. "You cannot be serious," he told her. "You're barely 20 and can't expect me to sanction such a marriage. What happened to your dream of becoming a lawyer?" "Nothing, father. I will certainly finish college and become a lawyer, but love is also important. I have found my husband, and I want you to accept him," she stubbornly told her father. But Aaron was unconvinced and implacable, even by Jeffrey's promise to love his daughter with every fiber of his being. Eventually, he gave Nancy an ultimatum. "It's either you cancel the wedding, or I stop paying for your college tuition. I'll let you decide." That was the last thing he said before he got up to leave. "I'm marrying him, father, whether you like it or not!" Nancy bellowed at him as he exited the dining room. The statement was followed by a silence that stretched on for minutes, but it was broken when Aaron returned to say one more thing. "You will do as I say, or you will cease to be my daughter." At that, Nancy broke into tears. She turned to her mother for help, but the woman would never outrightly go against her husband's wishes, so she begged Nancy to bow to his command for a short time. Nancy was forced to break up with Jeffrey after that. Many years passed, and Nancy eventually married another man, but because her heart never stopped loving Jeffrey, that marriage didn't last, ending in divorce. When her mother passed away, Nancy discovered a diary with a single entry in it, the date she and Jeffrey had marked for their wedding years back. Her mother had never forgotten. Neither did she. So, on Thanksgiving Day, just like she did while they were in college 50 years ago, Nancy decided to visit Jeffrey. Fortunately for her, he still lived at the same address and had also divorced his wife. They confessed their feelings to one another again, and a few weeks later, tied the knot with the blessing of Nancy's father. It was a long 17,500 days apart for the lovebirds, but they had found one another once more, and all they wanted was to cherish every moment together.